Hello, hello. I apologize for the bit of confusion. We are on at 1 p.m. Eastern. I've been doing a lot of these at 2, and so that's why the post had 2. That was my brain on autopilot. So I hope that you were able to catch us live. Catherine should be popping in, and I'm so excited for her to be sharing her story today. She is a mother of 3. This is her 3rd breastfeeding journey, and we had an awesome chat last week. And I just love hearing the experience that people have on their breastfeeding journey postpartum is something that is just it has such an impact on their life. And it is such a beautiful thing to honor that and to hear their stories and to share them here with you. I invite you to invite people to listen to these chats. I'm going to be also reposting them on YouTube so that we can continue to share and spread information, because every breastfeeding journey looks different. And so I want you to know that whatever yours is looking like, or if you are preparing to breastfeed, that you get to honor your journey, and we also get to honor one another's journey. And what a incredible thing that is to do for one another as women, as mothers, as people nourishing, giving their bodies through breastfeeding, through pregnancy. It is such a gift, and I want to really acknowledge and lift that up as we share with one another and spread the awareness of these stories, so that also for expecting moms, they can be more prepared. They can know some of the challenges that can arise along with the joys, and we can really normalize the realities, normalize that these journeys look different. Let me see, there's Catherine. I'm going to invite you in. Thank you. All right. And I've got it open on my computer too, because we did have a challenge. There you are. It's working. Oh wait,
Yes,
no, it's
working.
Can you see me on your screen?
I can. It seems to be good.
Okay. I can't see you, but this happened with Alex, and so I'm also there. Okay. I don't know what's going on, but both of us are seen through the Facebook group on the computer page. So
Perfect.
we'll let the phone just do its thing. I can see you in spirit. I'm glad we had our Zoom call.
Sounds great.
All right.
Thanks for
So I was
having
saying,
me. And hello to everyone who's watching live with us.
yes, invite your friend. I was just doing a little intro talking about how important it is to get this awareness out there, and that by sharing your story, that someone else on the other side is going to see themselves reflected in it in some way. And also for people who are expecting, they can be more informed and aware of some of the things that can come up, and they can feel more prepared and more steady, stepping into that stage, knowing that they're not alone, and really honoring just um, how life-changing essentially a breastfeeding journey is. It's not just part of postpartum, but it really is this connection with ourselves, our bodies, and our children. And that's such a beautiful thing.
Absolutely.
All right. So if anyone is here live, say hello in the comments. Like I said, if you've got any friends in this stage, feel free to invite them. Let's get this information out there, and we are going to kick off. So, Catherine, did you always plan on breastfeeding? Did anything influence your decision?
Yeah, I always planned to. I was intentional. Everyone's intentional, but I was very conscious to take a breastfeeding course beforehand. I made my husband sit with me through it. I'm one of 6 kids, and my mom breastfed us all. She is my hero, and so to me and my sisters who had kids before I did, they breastfed. So I was really just like, yep, this is what I'm gonna do. And also at a time we had kids pretty young, like we were just newly married and we got married pretty young. And so we didn't have much money. And so it was like, we need to make this work because formula is not something we budgeted for. Um, and at the time I didn't know about donor milk. So it was like, okay, we have to figure it out. So yeah, I always planned to breastfeed and I tried to prep as best as I could at the time. And yeah, I'm thankful we made it work, but definitely not without some hiccups.
Yeah. So that preparation definitely helped give you some tools stepping in, right? And is that where you learned about donor milk or was it afterwards?
No, it was afterwards.
It
Yeah,
was
it was
after.
actually
Okay.
when I started working as a doula, because, like you said, breastfeeding and motherhood changes you, and it kind of changed my career path. And so when I started working as a doula, one of my clients had IGT, so she couldn't produce, she didn't have the tissue to produce breast milk, and she used donor milk. And I said, "Oh, tell me about that." And like in my mind, it was common, like I didn't think twice about nursing my nieces or nephews if I was babysitting. Like that was not didn't seem strange to me to just nurse another kid's baby, but I didn't think about donating milk and getting just like the milk itself. Um, yeah, so that's how I learned about it was later on, and that was when I was pregnant with my third, actually.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes. And so that is something that this is going to be part of Catherine's story that we're going to hear more, but I just want to be explicit to bring that up,
yeah,
that donor milk is also an option for you to know about, that if something were to happen with your milk supply or postpartum, that the common go-to is to just use formula to buffer through that time. But if breastfeeding and breast milk is something that you've decided is very important to you, to know that donor milk is an option is something that I think is just important to just have that information out there. And then you can find those resources to connect you with. So
absolutely.
thank you for sharing that. That's part of why I'm so excited for your story and journey today, Catherine.
Thanks.
So we are talking about baby number three.
Yeah.
And what were those first few weeks and months like for you?
Um, they were very different than my first time and my second time around. And to kind of give context, I need to go back a tiny bit. I'll be brief. But with my first, like I said, I had taken the breastfeeding courses and I gave birth and I had a home birth and it was like beautiful, wonderful, but really hard. Like nothing prepares you for how hard labor is. And so I was like, that was the hardest thing I'd ever done. And then I started trying to breastfeed, and I was like, no, this is the hardest thing I've ever done because it was just constant. And I remember feeling overwhelmed like, this is going to be the rest of my life. Every 3 hours, I'm going to have to feed this baby for the rest of my life. And I couldn't like put it into context like, oh no, this part only lasts about a year. um, and it was overwhelming, and my baby didn't latch properly until she was almost 4 weeks old, and I was just that's kind of what gave me this passion for breastfeeding. So then fast forward to the second, I tandem fed because I was like, I don't want to stop and start all over again. What if I have a rough go again? So I was nursing both of them for the first year, and then when I had weaned my toddler and my baby was one, my second baby, then I started getting fissures, where like my nipple was like separating from the areola. Like it was really, really painful. And I was really freaked out. Like, what do I do? And I thought, no, this is the hardest thing I've ever done. And we were able to get through it. I saw a lactation consultant and they just encouraged me to take a few days and just pump or hand express and give it to the baby that way, let it heal. Um, and then I had my third. And I thought, okay, I know what I'm doing this time. She latched right away. Everything seemed good. I had lots of colostrum. When she was kind of tired and not taking it, I would just put it in a syringe or a cup and spoon feed it to her. And I never got that engorged feeling. And so that was kind of our first sign. Something is wrong here. Something's not quite right. Um, and then she was losing weight and she was diagnosed with colic. And I thought, this is completely different. Like, I never had a baby that was colicky. And then my midwife was a very wise woman. She said, I want you to try and pump. This was about 2 weeks after. And she wanted me to try and pump. And I pumped. And to my shock, I got like drops, like maybe 2 or 3 drops, like nothing. My milk, the colostrum had not turned into milk. Like it's all milk, but it had not been the more mature milk. And we were just shocked. And then we realized this baby is screaming not because she's colicky, like it's because she's starving. And so we gave her a bottle of formula because the midwife had one on hand, and she immediately stopped crying. And we realized I had been unintentionally starving this child and had no idea, because I thought, oh, I have 2 great nursing journeys. Like, they were hard, but they worked. And yeah, so I spent the next 3 months pumping every 2 hours during the day. I couldn't do it overnight because I just had, like, I have 2 other kids. I need to be able to be awake for them during the day. And so I think maybe it took me a little longer because I didn't do those nighttime pumps where prolactin is higher. But yeah, we were able to bring my supply completely back up to normal. And now my baby nurses most of the time. I pump if I feel full, or if we're out in public and she's kind of not wanting to nurse because she's just distracted, then I can give her a bottle. But it took 3 months. So my postpartum experience was completely different. I had to just put blinders on and ask people from my community, can you help with my big kids? Can you make us a meal? Can you help me do laundry? Because every 2 hours I need to stop and pump. So that's why it was very different than anything I'd ever experienced. And then after going through that, I now say, no, that was the hardest. Maybe hopefully number 4, I don't have another one, another story like that where it's even harder.
Well, it's
Yeah.
the evolution of it too, right? Sometimes it's like you get through one hurdle and you're like, yes, I've got this. And then there's another one that comes, but you are already stronger, right? Every stepping stone is this new evolution. And it's kind of like, you know, you're reacting and you're learning as your child is growing and just navigating this journey together. So it's a big part of that transformation, right? As mothers, to really be adaptable and to be able to see, okay, what's going on now? What can we do about it? Right? And be open. And so I really love that you had that support through your midwife and that you were able to respond. And to be honest, that, that experience opened you up to stretch yourself and ask for that extra help and support from others for meals with the bigger kids so that you could have that time to pump, because that's a big commitment.
Yeah.
And it's kind of an underlining theme, as we move into motherhood, that we don't want to ask for help. We feel that we're supposed to be able to do it all alone. And so I want to continue to normalize these stories and normalize that asking for help is actually part of the journey, because you aren't meant to do this
I
alone. And that,
exactly.
yeah,
Yeah. And if you look throughout history and in other places in the world, like you said, we're not meant to do it alone. So if
yeah.
we feel like we're failing, it's because we don't have that support that is so natural. Like, no one would think to ask a mother to do it all alone in other places of the world. Like, so yeah, it makes sense. But yeah, you're right. That's the biggest thing I've had to learn through motherhood, is to ask for help and not be ashamed to do that, and to let people help.
Exactly. It's the one thing to acknowledge you need the help. It's another thing, there's the evolution to ask for help, and it's another thing to receive the help.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, can you talk more about the donor milk and what that support looked like, what that journey was like for you, because that did help you get through that stretch?
Absolutely. Yeah. So, like I said, we did use a little bit of formula because we were going to a cottage just like with my in laws there to support us, because we were like, doing this alone is a lot. And so they graciously let us come up for the weekend, and we didn't have any donor milk yet. So I just took some formula. And then while I was there, I simply just posted on Instagram and Facebook and said, this is where we're at. I don't have enough milk. Does anyone have milk? Um, and I always give this disclaimer: if you're going to use donor milk, it's up to you to decide what you're comfortable with. If people are consuming alcohol or if they're on medications, like, you need to be responsible and screen them. But that's why I wanted to start with people I knew personally, because there are Facebook groups, official groups that you can get connected with for each region. But I wanted to just start with people I knew. And so I posted and just said, anyone have something? And within 24 hours, I had 12 people say, I have milk for you. And I just cried. I was like, this is incredible. Um, and the cool thing is that my baby was getting breast milk from 12 different people. So it's kind of building her immune system up even more in a sense, um, which I thought was beautiful. And thankfully, she didn't reject any of it. She was happy to take it all. Um, yeah, so it was incredible. And then the other side of that is that once my supply increased, I was able to say, I have this freezer full of milk. Who else needs it? And pass it on to be able to donate milk to more mothers in need. And so that was so cool. Such a beautiful full circle there.
Yeah, you got to pay it forward,
Yeah.
right? You were able to receive when you were in need and then get yourself to a place where you could give it back.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Um, and so getting more into some of what that support looked like, what were some of those signs in yourself, that were nudging you to say, like, it's time to ask for help. It's time to reach out. And what did that support system look like to really allow you the space to continue on your breastfeeding journey?
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, I had a postpartum doula. There's a couple of us who work together. So some of the ones that I work with said, hey, we're going to come and do an official doula shift. And so that was simply things like doing dishes, cleaning the bathroom, putting laundry away, stuff that I'm like, I would love to do, but I have to sit here hooked up to a machine for 20 minutes every 2 hours. And then other things about other options were like just saying to friends, hey, can I come to your house or can you come over so that when my toddlers are running around and I need to sit still, that I just have some help. Or like an extra pair of hands where you can like grab him if he's about to jump off of something, or things like that. And yeah, that's kind of the big thing, was just making sure that I wasn't alone. And I find, like we were talking about earlier, sometimes people are not, sometimes I'd say almost all the time, people are willing to help. They just don't know how, and they need you to ask. They're waiting for you for the ask. So I tell people, if you're asking like, where's my village? We all hear about the village and I can't find it. Be brave and maybe post on your Facebook or post on your social media or whatever app you're using and say, hey, I'm struggling. Here are some things I could use help with. And I'm sure people will respond and say, oh, okay, I'd love to. And even having like a list on your fridge of like, or on your phone or whatever, that just says like, when people come over, I need help with dishes, this, cleaning up the kids' room, putting toys away, whatever it might be. Um, because I think that a lot of people are longing for community and don't know where to start.
Yes, I love that. I love the list idea too. As things are coming up, these are things that I could use help with,
Mhm.
and then being open to who are people who can support me with that.
Yeah.
And this idea with the village, this is huge. This is something that I share in the New Mama Celebration Planner while you're pregnant,
Yes.
to create the resource list. And also in just a recent workshop that I did where it was about creating your village. It is our responsibility because there's this noise out there, they say, have your village,
Yeah.
but you get to create it.
Yeah.
Look at who is in your corner, who is in your circle. If you feel you don't have anyone right now, then put yourself out there a little bit and find some community, find some people who you can connect with, who you can trust. And even just that close circle can really make a big difference on your well being on your breastfeeding journey.
Absolutely.
You are not alone.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
There's no way I could have done it alone. I
right?
would have had to give up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it takes something to ask for help, right? I know for me too, I shared that I was like Miss Independent. I was like, I can do this all alone. Everyone else is doing it alone. Meanwhile, I was actually drowning in anxiety because it was like I was just sitting on the couch nursing. And I was like, is this my life? Like I used to do all of these other things. So it's about acknowledging too that peace and rest
Mhm.
during this phase, and also being supported to let others do some of the things that maybe you did previously, but that just aren't a priority in your life at this time when focusing on you and your child is the most important thing,
Yeah.
right?
It's a season, a
I
very
see.
important one. Yeah, but it's a season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'd love for you to share how you found the Naked Nursing Tank and what were you looking for anything specific? What drew you to it?
I originally found you through my friend Sarah, who I know you interviewed her a little while ago. She shared about it, and I thought, oh, that's a cool idea. I didn't look too much into it because I was just like, oh, I'm on my third baby. I've got enough clothes and whatever. And then when I started following and saw, I think I shared this when we were chatting, but I was drawn to you and how it's more than just a business. Like you're so passionate about supporting mothers. And then I thought it's a very practical thing. I'm actually wearing it right now. And since I shared about it, a couple people reached out and was like, "Oh, I've been thinking about buying one. How do you like it?" So I'm happy to share um, that way. And I think I shared too when we were chatting that I really like after my first two babies, my body didn't change too much. But after my third one, it was like a complete wild card. My body really changed. And so being able to just nurse easily and still have my stomach covered is nice. Um, I just feel more comfortable that way. And so I really appreciate it this third time around because of just the way my body changed so much. I'm still getting used to it feeling like mine and not like a foreign body. So that's really helpful. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. That is huge, right? With the Naked Nursing Tank. It's
Yeah.
about helping you and new moms feel comfortable in your skin so that you have that confidence to nurse wherever you are, whether it's home, whether it's in front of friends, or whether you're going out in public somewhere, that you've got that comfort with the coverage to take
Yeah.
away some of the thoughts or the stress that can kind of come with feeling exposed when you are, doing this intimate thing, nursing your child. And so I'm so grateful that it's there to support you and that you're feeling those benefits and able to share that with others through your work, supporting others with their breastfeeding journey, as well as a doula.
Yeah. Yeah. Breastfeeding coach and a doula. Like we said at the beginning, once I started nursing and realized how much support it takes, it like my career did a complete switch because I was like, I'm so passionate about helping people find that support so that they can reach their goal. Because I don't think that reaching your breastfeeding goals it doesn't just take sheer willpower. Like if it did, everyone would be able to do it. But I think it's really, truly your support system that makes or breaks whether you reach your goal or not.
Yeah. Yeah, that sense of community is so
Uh,
important because you can only do so much preparation, right? With the courses, with the learning, when you're in it, as we're sharing through these stories, every journey looks different. And even like for you, right? Each one of your three, same for me. Each one of my three journeys has looked a little bit different. And
yeah,
so by sharing them, we get to honor our own stories and really normalize what that experience can look like for others and share this importance of being supported and reaching out for help. Yeah.
absolutely.
So a celebration question is how long have you been breastfeeding? You can share kind of, I know you did some tandem feeding,
Yeah.
but you can share your overall and then currently with baby three.
Um, like I said, I've never stopped. So this summer will be 5 years straight
Wow.
of nursing.
No,
No breaks. Yeah.
yeah, you tandem, yeah. Wow. Wow. Just gonna
Yeah.
get to laughing now. We celebrate every journey, and that is a huge commitment
Thank you.
to yourself and to your children. Through each of those hurdles, you continue to just know in your heart and be guided that this was something that you wanted to do and provide for them, and that you allowed yourself to be supported throughout that. So that is huge. I am celebrating you 5 years straight.
Yeah. That feels really special to be celebrated. And especially because with my third one, because she was having donor milk and using the bottle for so long,
Mhm.
I was like, maybe this is it. She's gonna just be bottle fed and not come to the breast. But the fact that we were able to get her back and now nurse regularly is it did take a lot of work, so it feels really wonderful to be celebrated.
Yeah.
So thank you for
Yeah.
that.
That is huge. And another good point, it came up with one of our other chats. But again, if you do end up with a season of pumping and bottle feeding, you can still get back on the breast to nurse if that is something that you want to do, and to be supported to help get that guidance and hands-on support from a lactation consultant or a breastfeeding coach or postpartum doula who has that lactation training and experience to support you. Because some people, I think, do just think if they start pumping, then that's just going to be the journey. But if you do want to continue to work on the latch, there are kind of certain points where the baby can just kind of get it. And so continue to try to latch and be supported for, sometimes it can just be the smallest tweak, right? You being relaxed, someone just giving you a little tip for a posture difference that can just help both you and baby settle into it.
Yeah. Yeah, and we used a supplemental nursing system, a tube system
Yeah.
at breast as well was a huge game changer. And so that's part of what I do in my work as a breastfeeding coach is teach people how to use those as well, because sometimes it just teaches baby, oh, this is where milk comes from. Yeah, but I hope my story gives everybody hope that if you're in a season of pumping and your desire is to get the baby back at the breast, it is possible. She was 3 months old before she was nursing regularly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And what is the biggest, or what do you wish you knew earlier? What's the one thing, if you could give a piece of advice that you wish you knew earlier?
I touched on this earlier, but my biggest piece of advice, thing that I learned through my motherhood journey that I wish that I knew when I first started was asking for help and asking often, not being afraid to do that.
Yeah.
Um, and like I said, even if you want to be very organized and make a list of this is what I need, these are things that can help me, and then be brave and ask. Whether it's professional support, like we said, like a lactation consultant or a breastfeeding coach, or it's something as simple as having someone come do all the household tasks so that you can focus on skin to skin and bonding with baby and all the things that promote breastfeeding.
Amazing. And what do you love about breastfeeding?
I, I love that it forces you to be present and
Yeah.
grounded. It takes you out of the schedule and the chaos of your day and forces you to just be present with your baby. Take a deep breath, calm down, be still. Not that you always needed to calm down, but it forces you to just calm, because if you're tense, like your milk is not going to flow as well. So
Yeah.
it makes you pause. And I really love that about breastfeeding and the bond with your child. It's
Yeah.
just it's just really special, and once you've done it, then it's like, oh yeah, now I know what you mean. But before I became a mother, I heard about it, but it's different to experience it.
Definitely that emotional connection, and just through their touch and when they look up at you or grab your finger, right? There is just something that it's indescribable. It is
Yeah.
so precious and so wild, right, along the way. But I love that's your favorite part. Those moments of stillness to just connect and be so present, zeroed in with them is such a blessing and a gift in motherhood. And that's something that can be challenging for some as well, right? That's slowing down. I know for me, being fast paced before and then to being sitting down all the time nursing, it was a bit challenging. But when I surrendered to it and like
Yes.
celebrated, this is actually how it's supposed to be, let myself be here, then that's where just so much beauty and peace came in. Amazing. And where can people find you? Because you have now taken your experiences to share and help others. So you can share where people can contact you and then the services that you offer. And I'll also put this in at the
Thank
end.
you. Appreciate that so much. So I'm over on Instagram at Let Them Latch. And like I said, I'm a breastfeeding coach and a doula, and I have virtual and in person, if you're local to me, in person supports. Like things just like a breastfeeding troubleshoot if you're struggling or have some questions that we can just do at any time. And then I have longer supports like one that includes a breastfeeding troubleshoot call, and then FaceTime or a text or voice message, whatever app you need to use, support for up to 6 weeks. And then I have another one that is, again, for those who are more local, but it's 10 hours of hands-on support so that I'm with you with several feeds for the full day. And then in between feeds, I can do doula tasks like taking care of other kids or doing dishes or tidying your house or making you a meal, whatever it is that takes things off your to-do list so you can focus on breastfeeding your baby. Those are my three main supports. And then I do birth and postpartum support as well. Yeah.
Amazing. And so what region are you in? If people are
I'm
interested in
Yes, I'm in Brantford, and so I go anywhere that's about a 30-minute. So like Cambridge, Hamilton. Sometimes I go to Waterloo, Paris, anywhere around about or Woodstock, about 30 minutes from Brantford. I'm happy to do, but that's why there's also virtual support, so I can help you in other ways if you are further than that. And also on my Instagram, you'll see a link to sign up for emails because I have some guides coming out about how to increase your milk supply, and some about tandem feeding and some more resources coming that way.
Amazing. Thank you, Catherine. Give her a follow on Instagram at Let Them Latch. And I want to thank everyone who is watching this. Please share your comments, share your experiences, reach out and invite other people and tag someone that you know who's pregnant or breastfeeding so that they can hear these stories and that we can really honor one another and see ourselves in one another as well, to know that we are never alone and that we can really share in the wisdom from one another's experiences. So thank you, Catherine, for being here. Thank you, everyone, for watching, and stay tuned for our next episode of Breastfeeding Stories series. Have a
Thank you
great
so
day. Bye.
much. Bye.